and welcome back to Las Vegas for our coverage of the GAMA Trade Show 2016. I'm Eric Summerer here with Todd Rowland from AEG. Hi, Todd.
Hi, Eric.
How's it going?
Doing quite well.
A lot of exciting things to talk about. We're going to start with Mystic Vale.
Yes, Mystic Vale. This is our big release we're excited about for this year. It introduces what we're calling the card crafting system.
Okay.
So in the past, just about everybody has played deck building games. We've had a couple of deck building games. There's lots of deck building games out there.
A couple.
This is the first card building game, or card crafting game as we're calling it.
Okay.
So the idea is that each player has a deck of 20 cards, okay? And so each player has their own color on the back, yellow, red, blue, stuff like that.
Sure.
You have 20 cards, and over the course of the game, you will stay at 20 cards the whole time. What you'll be doing is you'll be customizing each card and optimizing each card toward whatever strategy you're going for.
Okay.
So you don't have to get rid of cards or buy new cards. But
And that's where these overlays
That's where these overlays come in. So on your turn, what you're going to do is you're going to start with your deck, and I want to make sure I'm doing this the right way around so people can see it face up.
Yeah.
You're going to play cards. Now your initial deck comes with a set of cards that are either Fertile Soil, which just gives you a buying point, a point of buying power, or Cursed Lands, which gives you buying power and decay, which I'll explain in a minute.
Okay.
Because the whole theme of the game is that you're all druids and you're trying to revitalize this veil that's been cursed. Right?
Gotcha.
And you will have some cards that are blank at the initial that don't do anything.
Oh, that's great.
They will eventually, but now they don't. So let's say that I was doing this run. Okay, so right now I've got 3 buying power, 2 decay. If I keep going and hit 4 decay, I've spoiled and my turn's over.
Okay.
And I get nothing.
Yes.
If I stop at 3 or at 2, wherever I want to stop, I can then go on to buy cards, or buy advancements as we call them.
Gotcha.
So in this case, I've stopped here. I've got 3 buying power. So then I would come down here to the advancements and look in the upper left corner. And there would be more advancements out than this, and they'd be ranked from like level 1 to level 3.
Yeah,
so
okay.
you'd have more. So let's see, Field of Flowers only costs 3. So I'm going to use my 3, and I'm going to buy the Field of Flowers. Now I can pick any card that is in my field that I've played to add this to.
Interesting.
I cannot cover up an existing one, so I can't get rid of the cursed land.
You can't get rid of the cursed land.
I could put it here,
run the blank,
or I could
you
put it
could make
here.
the Fertile Soil
so
even
what
more
I'll do
fertile.
is I will sleeve it in, so now this card's making 3 income for me every turn.
Okay.
We sweep this, and then it goes to the next person's turn. So on my next, let's say I've got it a couple turns, I've reshuffled,
And now
I'm
you've
coming
got
out
stronger
with this,
cards.
and oh look, I've got a lot more buying power now. Now eventually, you're going to start creating all kinds of wacky cards. So like, let's say that I have
There's sort of a high, middle, low section of these cards.
and I can only create up to 3 on a card.
Yep. Oh, wow. And there's
So
sort of an
then
ability ribbon as well.
There's an ability ribbon that'll give it a new effect, and some of the cards will have their own effect. So for instance,
man.
there could be a lot going on. You customize out what you want it to do. So right now, this
is
is a
a
very
crazy card.
risky card because it's got 2 decay on it, but at the same time, it's getting me 8 victory points every time it's played. That I complete, that I don't bust, right, or spoil.
Yeah, okay.
And on Harvest, I gain another buying power for each other card in my field. So the longer I can do the run, the more buying power I'll get. And then at the end of the game, that's end of the game victory points.
Yep.
And then these are called Guardian Power. Basically, they key off other things as well, different combos I can set up. Now,
Okay.
so you may notice that some cards have these little symbols like this bear claw and this star.
Sure.
If I get enough symbols out in a row, I can buy the Veil cards. These are like
these.
I've healed this part of the land. So like if I buy the Ancient Life Roots, it stays in front of me from now on, and I gain a permanent piece.
bonus.
A piece negates 1. So I can continue, I can push farther and push farther. There are cards that have peace built in, like this one, that if I attach it on a card, it could cancel out any of my spoilage. Most of them just have victory points, right? You complete this, you get bigger bonus points, but some of them have abilities you can get. You play until all the advancements are bought for that game, and then you total up the total victory points between all the players.
Excellent. And I'm assuming because these sleeves are critical to the ordering of the cards, they're in the box.
They are in the box. The game has 80 cards in it because it's for 4 players, and each player would have 20 cards. The game comes with 100 sleeves, so if you have a little bit of breakage or a tear, you've got extra sleeves there.
Good.
They are basic tarot size, so you can always acquire more sleeves if you needed to. Yeah. And that's basically the game. There's a ton of different advancements to do all different kinds of things, crazy combos you can come up with. Really neat on run. I've seen some where people have just a couple of really powerful cards and they'll do short runs. I've seen others where people will get a ton of peace in their deck and do like run their whole deck in one go if they can. And all different kinds of ways to do it.
Excellent. When do we expect to see Mystic
This
Vale?
will be in stores in June.
Excellent. So you'll have copies at Origins?
We should have copies at Origins. There will be there's an expansion already in the works, and the designer John Clare originally brought us a game that used card crafting that was a much bigger scale. It had worker placement, a cube tower, monsters, double-sided things. It was wacky, and it's awesome. It's a great game, and we're going to publish it. But when we went to him and said, like, let's just introduce people to card crafting.
Start this concept
right?
first.
And so he came up with this one, which has been really great. And then later we're going to bring out Edge of Darkness, which is the larger scale version of the game.
Okay.
But
all right, next, I really want to talk about this trio of boxes that we've got stacked up. I'm going to move Mystic Veil over here. But Guildhall has been one of my favorite games of the past several years, one of my favorite AEG games. And this is Guildhall Fantasy.
Yes. So Guildhall has been a great success for us, right? It's been a great selling game. It was given the recommended list for the Spiel the year it came out. It was on their short list of recommended games. It's been really good, but we always kind of wanted to do a little more with it. So what we've done here is we're bringing out the game as Guildhall Fantasy. So in the initial release, now these are going to come out in 3 months, so it'll be June, July, August.
Okay, and is the first one Fellowship?
Fellowship, then Alliance, then Coalition.
Okay.
And in Fellowship, the character classes are basically the original cards from the original Guildhall. They have the same ability, fish a card out of the discard, swap characters, all that kind of stuff. But they're represented as a fighter, a druid, a monk, different types of fantasy classes. Then the next month we have Guildhall Alliance come out. Now in Guildhall Alliance, you get 6 more characters who have completely new abilities, not seen in Guildhall before.
Right.
But each class corresponds to a class in the prior set. So, for instance, in this one you have a fighter, in this one you might have a paladin, in this one you have a druid, in this one you have a cleric.
Okay.
You might have a thief, and in this one you have an archer or a scout or something of that effect.
Okay.
You can mix and match by different classes to make new games. So, okay, I'm going to have the paladin and the thief and the druid in this one. And then Guildhall Fantasy Coalition comes out and introduces, say, a barbarian and another healing class and all the different ones, bards, things like that. So you can mix and match across all 3 of them. You can also do what we're calling the mega brick, which is where you just take all the cards, put them together into a giant game, and play it that way.
Do it.
It can be a little longer building your sets, or you can, as one of the rules says, you can do it by class as well. So you can just, the fighter and the paladin can go together.
Form the same.
But they trigger their own ability. So even if you have 2 fighters and you play paladin, you get the paladin ability at 3 instead of just the 2 fighters.
Right, okay, yes.
So lots of different things you can do there.
Are these standalone sets? If I were to just buy Coalition, it's a standalone
You could play
set.
Coalition just as it is. Absolutely. Gotcha. And you can play them all separately, or you can pick them all up and mix them all around.
And you said June, July, August?
June, July, August is the intended date. If there's a slowdown or something, it would be July, August, September. We're not waiting too long to get them out there. So, but,
what else do we have on the docket?
What else do we have on the docket? Okay, to show off some stuff, this will be in stores very shortly, is Greedy Greedy Goblins from Richard Garfield. Super fun little game. I'll show you just a couple of components because this is not a complete set. So you have your mines, and there'll be a circle of mines. There'll be a whole bunch of mine cards around. And then in the middle, you'll have a bunch of tiles. And I'm just going to put out a few real quick. But you would have tons of these little tiles. When the game starts, all the players start immediately grabbing. You look at it. No, you don't flip it. You look at it secretly. You see what it is, and you pick a mine to put it in. Now look at this. All right, now at any point during the game, I can take one of my little goblin tokens, claim that mine.
Okay.
No one else can add anything to that mine, and I'm going to score it at the end of the round.
Now locked down.
All right, once everyone's played all their goblins or all the tiles have been assigned, the round's over. You then begin revealing and find out what they do. Oh, look, it's gold. That's worth a point. I get a point. Yay. Oh, it's a torch. Now, the torch was special. When you reveal the torch, you could play it face up to look at something else in the thing. But anyway. Another gem. That's worth another point. And 3. So that would have been 3 points. Decision. That would have been a great mine.
If I had chosen this mine, I'd run into
You would have run into the monster. Now, the monster isn't bad for you, but if there had been a gem there, the monster eats the gem.
Oh.
And he takes it away. You can also have dynamite. Your first dynamite doubles your value. Your second dynamite triples your value. And your third dynamite collapses the mine. And you lose all the points in it. So that's where it gets tricky because people are throwing these in all the mines and you're trying to keep up. Okay, who's played here? How many did you put in there?
Yeah.
Are you going to try and grab that one? You don't know what's going to happen. You also have little tokens for workers. Every time you reveal a worker, you get to draw a card off the minion deck. which might give you different abilities that you can use whenever you need them. So for instance, the gold smelter, if I had got this one, I could play the gold smelter, that would be worth 1 extra point. For however much gold is in there, you get an extra point.
Okay.
A canary, if the mine would blow up, you don't score it, but you get to save your goblin token. You don't have to wait around before getting another goblin token back. He doesn't get blown up.
Gotcha. Excellent. When do we see this one?
This one will be out next month. It'll be out in April.
Excellent.
And yes.
And last but not least.
Would
you call this the flagship title of AEG at this point, or is this just the perennial bestseller?
This is the perennial bestseller. Our flagship title is Smash Up. Smash Up is still our biggest at this point, but our perennial bestseller, of course, is Love Letter. And later this year, we'll be coming out with Love Letter Premium. You can see, it comes in a nice little box here.
That's the magnetic closure.
Yes, this is the magnetic. Nice little box. And comes with your rules and big cards. Not only are they big cards, but you'll notice there's several new cards because this brings Love Letter to a 5 to 8 player expansion. You can play it from 2 to 8 players. The rulebook will tell you which characters to use for the number of players. So if you got 5 players, you add these in. If you got 6, you add these in.
These aren't regular cards either. This is a much thicker card stock. Almost cardboard.
Yes, much nicer. Now this was an early factory demo. We're going to be adjusting the cards a little bit. We're going to go to a true tarot size so that people can sleeve them if they want to. Right? This was just a mock, but yes, they are going to be thicker than normal cards. And like I say, the new effects are really neat. Some characters, like for instance, the Jester is one of my favorite. When you play the Jester, you pick another player. If they win the round, you also get a point. It's like, wow, man, you're much better at this game than me, so I'm going to bet you're going to win.
And these are, of course, heart tokens as opposed to the standard cubes.
Exactly. And then after this comes out, a little while after this comes out, we're going to release a standard card size expansion for people who have the old Love Letter who don't want to pick up the premium. They can expand their game to the 5 to 8 player through normal card size.
Interesting.
And go with their other one. So yes, that is Love Letter Premium.
Timeline on that on Premium?
It'll be, right now all I can say is later this year, probably fall, but I can't give an exact date just yet.
Excellent.
We're doing a lot of stuff with Seiji this summer and fall. We're bringing him to Gen Con, so if you're going to be at Gen Con, you can meet Seiji Kanai. He'll be at our booth, he'll be at Big Game Night, he'll be a part of all that. So.
All right. Excellent. Todd Rowland, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for spending time with us, and thank you for watching.